So welcome back to episode 6 of the Let's Be Honest podcast with myself, Peter, Paul, and Stuart. Episode 6.
Pascal, you're sitting there. You're like in one of those little. I remember years ago, one of those like little photo booths there that you'd go to in Woodworth.
I knew this would be brought up.
Yeah,
I changed the
pull the
backdrop.
curtain and you sit there, and the flash goes off, and you put your £2 in, and you get like 4 or 5 wee photographs.
Do you think it looks? Does it look a bit economic, or what's the
No,
word?
the word you're looking for is creepy. It looks
Dark.
It's not like you're just waiting for him to turn into Dracula or any time of the night. Those come and get you.
You came out of retirement at the weekend.
I did.
First of all, did you remember how everything worked? How long has it been? How long have you been in retirement for?
Well, I wouldn't use the word retirement.
No, but you kind of
Moved on.
Yeah.
But very busy with radio.
Oh, of course.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, very busy with radio, very busy with doing things with those guys and doing other things.
How did it go? What would be your review of your own gig?
Well, my first thought was when I went through the door and introduced myself and got the usual, it's down the back, up the stairs, turn to the right, up the third set of floor. I thought if I had Banford by the throat. Well, last night as well, the venue itself was cold. Okay, this was in a conservatory, which made it even colder. Family members were sitting at tables with their coats on, so you can picture that whole ambiance and that whole initial startup. Coming up to 9 o'clock, people sitting with their coats on, 5 people here and 3 there, and and they're sitting looking at each other. And at one stage, I being the professional that I am, I dipped the music and I said, is it too loud for you? Is it interrupting your conversation? Oh, no, it's grand. I said, it's difficult for me to hear in behind the speakers what the noise level is. Oh, no, it's grand. I broke a bit of ice, and then I had a bit of banter with people at tables. The funny thing is, I bumped into an assistant. Let me just say an assistant last night. And I picked the assistant up and brought the assistant up to the gig, and the assistant helps me in with the equipment.
Hold on. Is this your mate who brings a carry out?
No. This assistant helped me in with the goods, and I have a stand for the laptop. Right, dropped the stand, broke the stand before we got started. Okay. So I'm setting it all up, Banford, as per your instructions, and I'm looking around. Where's the assistant? The assistant's out in the car sleeping. Because, I'm not going to name names, but because it was so cold, the assistant decided to go and get into the car and turn on the heated seats and the heating.
So not assisting?
No. So when I come back out after the gig and gets into the car, the assistant's sort of half dozing, and you all loaded up and all the way, all heading home now? I says, no, I'm just moving the car up to the door to get it all lifted into the back. You just stay where you are. You'll be all right.
What do you need an assistant for?
It just ended up that way that I bumped into an assissant.
It sounds a bit
Not
dodgy.
Name, but I bumped into an assistant.
Male or female?
Female.
You have a woman hauling in the speakers?
No, she was quite good at the start. Very enthusiastic. Quite good, enthusiastic. All biz. Yeah, I think I'll stay and listen to some of your tunes. Next thing's freezing. Will you open the car? I'm going out to sit in the car. So bless her, she sat in the car for 4 hours.
You wouldn't do that to a dog.
What an adventure.
It sounds
An
like
eventful evening, an eventful return.
It sounds like this person was taken against their will.
But I'm sure, I'm sure now she would be saying to herself, yeah, I've experienced Big R at a disco. I think that'll do me. Wow. And then I didn't rock in here to about 10 to 2 in the morning. And that brings me back to.
Why were you riding the assistant?
No.
All right, okay.
You didn't get out of the venue at 1:15.
All right, okay. Fair enough. Okay.
And you're going on about 24 hours. It's not. It's not. It's an hour before, an hour after. last night was my first setting up that gear and trying to make sure then, of course, as today, where's this, where's that, is the microphone in there, where's this, making sure you haven't left anything behind. Have you ever gone away and left anything behind?
One of the famous stories in our band, our bass player played keys in another band before that. He rolled up to the gig with his keys, the hard case for the keys, keyboards, put it in, getting all set up and all, opens the hard case, no keyboard inside it. He just brought the case, and there was no he had to drive an hour home to go and get the keyboard at home. But that's always the fear, because there's so much shit that you have to bring.
So much cable, and even last night that we rig of Banfords there, the amount of cables and plugs, and this plugs into that, not plugs and plugs, and then you're always in anticipation to make sure it's going to work, and is the laptop going to connect, is the hard drive going to connect, and then of course, you know, these kids were 18 and under, and they're running up with their phone. Have you got this, mate? Have you got that? No. What? Make me up yucky and good grief. What are they listening to these days?
You made a comment about some of their clothing options, outfit decisions.
Yeah, well, let's just say it was a tad chilly for the attire. When you were back in 18, what were you wearing?
I think when I was 18, I was going through my rap phase. So it was a lot of like Billionaires Boys Club. he's laughing at that. Yeah.
When I was going through my rap phase.
In my mind, it was cool, but it was more like Ali G.
Yeah.
When I was that age, I feel I was the last generation to just, you know, as you say, like 18-year-olds, not even, like 16-year-olds and all, like going out with full faces of makeup on and all. Like, I don't ever remember that being a thing when I was that age.
You not wear makeup at that age?
I didn't. No.
But coming up with totally, like, I've been at this game a long time, but must be totally way out of touch when they're flashing DJ Mickey Mishmash and
I know. It's when they start asking for, you know, remixes of a certain song.
Yeah, and the unedited sexual explicit remix. Have you got that? Let me just say, you know, and stuff that we play on radio has absolutely no relevance to what's being asked for at a disco.
Well, I've said that to you, and nothing hits home harder, I should say, whenever you're doing the likes of the Ice Bowl, and you know you're dealing with, you know, you're talking about 18-year-olds. I'm talking about like early teens, and nobody's asking for Ed Sheeran or Dua Lipa or anything. It's all random stuff, and they don't even know who it's by. They just show you the cover artwork. And do you remember you used to be able to say to people, "Oh, I don't have it." Now it's like there's no excuse to go plug my phone in.
Yeah.
Did you say like, "Good evening, I'm Paul Orr from Downtown Radio"?
No, they all knew. I was known. I was known. This bloke, this bloke, he says, "Are you Paul Orr?" I says, "I am." I says, "How do you know?" He says, "It says in the front of your laptop."
I was going to say, it says it on your number plate and your assistant.
Right, here, another question, another thing I want to throw at you, right? There's been a survey done of the most stressful airports in Europe, right? Where is the most stressful airport that you've ever been in your life?
I had an issue last year at Lisbon Airport.
That's when the dog started sniffing you, wasn't it?
It was only because...
and then lay down beside you and went, ruff, ruff, ruff.
I just got a new British passport, and they have those things where you have to, you know, plant it face down, and then it's only once it scans it and accepts it, the door's open. And everybody around me, theirs was being accepted and their door was opening, and mine wasn't. And I was trying to signal to Jorge, "Can you get over here and have a look?" And he was just like... he was yelling at me like, "You scan it face down." And I was going, "I am scanning it face down, and I'm going to miss this bloody flight because he can't get up off his arse."
I know they have to be, but they're just such jobs, like especially in security. Like they just treat you like you're like an animal.
Yes, even the guys, you know, the whole security thing, like take off your shoes, take off your belt. There's a way of doing it.
But they shout at you. They're like, I remember guys shouting at me because I had a hoodie on. I mean,
Number one rings a bell for us, Paul. That was fairly stressful.
It does, yeah. We spent quite a while back and forward to that one, didn't we?
Dublin is number 8.
Dublin,
I've never really had any
Dublin.
bother with Dublin, to be fair.
It can be very, very busy. And so, like, you could arrive 3 hours before your flight, and if it's particularly busy, it'll be touch and go.
Mm.
Do you know, I had a stressful moment fairly recently at London City Airport. My sister works for Boots, and she'd gotten me a load of, like, Liz Earle stuff. It was all miniature bottle stuff,
Oh,
right? And I was... what?
Pruck.
What's that mean?
Pruck.
What's that mean?
Never heard of Pruck.
What's Pruck mean?
Free?
Yes.
Oh, I just guessed. No, it wasn't.
You've
Well, I
never
don't
heard
know.
of Pruck? Do you get any
No.
Pruck?
Pruck.
Pruck. No,
P-R-U-C-K.
Listen, you sounded like a chicken there.
Pruck, it says there is a soft staccato noise.
But look, hold on a second. Pruck. Pruck.
Maybe it's
I know what it is. You keep saying Pruck.
Is it very Northern Irish?
Well, it's an old sound. Pruck. Did you get any Pruck?
I have this wee see-through bag full of this
Oh.
lizard. And inside the bag is a variety of miniature Liz Earle essentials.
That you got us.
And so, but it was inside like a rucksack sort of thing. So it's flagged as, you know, it's being
That's
scanned
it.
as it's going through the airport, like, "Mer, mer," and the guy's straight over and he's like, you know, obviously liquids and all this sort of stuff. So he pulls it out with the rubber gloves and he's like, "What's this? What's this?" And I'm like, you can see on the side of it, it says like Liz Earle moisturizer, you know, like, you know, all sorts of, and I'm like trying to explain to him. And the fact that it was busy and you were primarily surrounded by women, and as a grown man, you were going, "Liz Earle moisturizer." I felt like such a divot.
But what do they do with all that stuff that they confiscate off you?
Oh, I know.
Where does that go? You know, if you arrive with a bottle of Old Spice, for example, 125ml, can't take that on, mate. Well, I've just bought it there. The duty free, can't take that on, mate. No. What do they do with that? Because I think they give you the option of, we'll post it to you,
Mm-hmm.
or you can collect it when you return. But how do you
Right.
get to the departures when you return to collect it?
Well, a mutual friend of ours, Chris Armstrong, would regularly be going back and forth to England to DJ at those country events, and he always will film, you know, his decks coming off, and it's why they just throw it on like it's nothing, and you know, even though he has, like, you know, handle with care across the bottom, you know.
That's like you know, like a button that says "Don't push." Yeah, you're gonna push it, you know, in that kind of way. It's just
Would you relate that down to customer care? Would you say that those guys don't care because either one, they're not getting paid enough, number two, don't care, or number three, is just get the day in?
I think a bag's a bag, and they're not even paying that much. They're probably zoned out that much that it's just
It doesn't matter what you would have in it, as he says. It doesn't matter what you have in it. It just doesn't. It's just a bag. Throw it on, throw it off. That's if they do. I travelled to the States there quite a bit a couple of years ago, and you know, you were arriving in the States and your bag wasn't arriving like for 4 days. Where the hell did it go?
yeah.
You know, where was it for 4 days? Oh, it didn't get on the flight. Right, okay. So here's the band. Here's the band, right? And you take down the security. Do you know the word band?
I know the word. Yeah,
You
yeah,
do? You understand band?
yes.
Okay, just in case. Just checking. Luggage is not allowed to travel on a flight without the person that owns the luggage. Is that right or wrong?
Now you say that, yeah, that's true. Yeah,
So how come they're flying around with all these bags that they've lost from people to try and get them back to the people that own them? The people. So you've all these flights flying around with luggage on them that doesn't belong to anybody on the flight, but belonged to maybe somebody 4 days ago. So how does all that work?
And also, I remember a very stressful moment at going to America with a load of DJ gear in the bottom of my bag, you know, to do a broadcast. But I was going allegedly for pleasure. You know, I didn't have any sort of work visa. So the guy's quizzing me, and you know, about, like, you know, where are you going? What's the address of the hotel? All this sort of stuff. And I can just feel the sweat running down my back. And yeah, that was fairly stressful. And then when I got to America, the bag didn't show up. That's why you put it back into my head. And this woman literally hands me again a clear see-through bag with a toothbrush, toothpaste, a bit of deodorant, and she says, "We'll do our best, and we'll have the bag sent to your hotel when it arrives."
You see, that's the story I was going to tell you there as well with the rubber gloves. Going to New York many years ago to do a live broadcast for a station called City Beat, which was coming from New York. Myself and a so-called engineer and a producer.
So called.
And we were to be on the 52nd floor of this hotel in Times Square. So we arrive anyway up into the nice hotel now, but I must give it a nice hotel. But before we got to the hotel,
TripAdvisor.
we arrive at the airport, and it was the airport in New Jersey. So we arrive there anyway, and you're going through that Homeland Security business as you do, and the engineer's standing with all the kits and the modulators and all the sort of stuff. And hey, I see him going through, no problem at all. Producer, she waddles her way through, no problem at all. Came to me, hey sir, what are you doing here? And I said, yeah, here, blah blah blah. We're doing a live radio broadcast from Times Square. You're here to work? No, well, we're here to do ding 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 ding. Over the four of them guns and all. This guy's here to work. Oh, what? Hold off into the room. Right? Hold off into the room. Tight wee moment. On goes the rubber gloves. I thought, oh my God, these boys are going to be, this is going to be invasive. Right? But the little room they haul you into, there's a huge big desk, and it sits maybe 10 feet in the air, and 4 or 5 of them are sitting behind this desk, and you're standing like looking up at them, and that's just to intimidate you, apparently. This is to psychologically intimidate you. What are you doing? We're here to work. I said, well, I'm not really here to work. I'm a radio presenter, and we're doing an interview, and blah, blah, blah. And lucky enough, my cousin out there is a sheriff in New Jersey police. And I was able to give his name and address. They contacted him. Do you know this guy? And blah, blah. Oh, yeah. And that got me out of it. Or I might have been getting the rubber glove treatment.
Why rubber glove? Just because you're working?
To have a look to see if you've anything where it shouldn't be.
Oh, like, okay. A doctor once put his finger up my arse.
In your bum hole. Pistol.
I know, I understand
Do you understand the words bum and hole?
No, but I once, as part of a medical checkup, a doctor put his finger up my ass, right? I didn't mind it. But
if I hadn't got a clip before, I've got a clip now.
You know what? I felt more embarrassed for him.
Was it?
You know, I felt more embarrassed for him, right? And then to sort of, like two men, and he's like, get on your side, and like pull your knees up, and then
how did you go with the finger?
But so I remember saying to him, because this it seemed like
your number.
It would. I left a bit. I remember saying to him, just to try and, I can't handle awkward silence. I says to him, "So you do this like every day, for a living?" And he was like, "Yeah." But I was fine throughout the procedure, and then pull your undercrackers up, your trousers back on, and. But it was only when I then stood up and like took one step, I literally thought I was going to shit myself.
I have to say,
were you quivery at the knees, Banford, after that?
No. I mean, I was surprisingly casual about the whole thing, and it wasn't that. And I thought, like, at the end of the day, it's a professional situation. It's a medical environment. But it was only when I took the one step, completely fully relaxed, I thought, have I just shit myself?
Was he definitely a doctor?
It could have been a vet. I remember going into hospital years ago, and I had to have the equivalent to an epidural. It's called a spinal tap.
Heard of that, yeah.
Okay. And I can tell you that now as well. That is another one of the most excruciating things you've ever had done.
Run past me what that is again.
Well, they put a large needle into your spinal column and draw fluid out of it to make sure there's no blood in it. and the fluid is clear.
Yeah.
You know, and that can relate down to different conditions, etc., etc., etc. But I can tell you something: I was never as pleased to get out from that procedure.
Are you numbed or anything? Are you?
Well, you get a wee bit of a numbness. You get a wee bit of a numbness, but then you see that bit of the numbness leads us back to where you need the bucket.
Here's more what I'm interested by. Whenever you go through something like that, where do you go afterwards? What do you do straight after?
Toilet.
Right. Okay.
Where would you go?
No. I think it's, like when you were a kid and you got out of school to go to the hospital or the dentist, or do you know what I mean? And then before you were dropped back to school, or the optician in my case, Pistol's case too, your mom would normally take you for like
Free whistle lolly,
a wee treat somewhere, a wee bit of lunch, or a wee McDonald's or something before dropping you back to school. And so whenever now, me as an adult, I have to go for any sort of dentist, optician, or anything, I'm still looking for a wee treat.
But you're very keen of the dental hygienist, aren't you?
I pay it's either £15 or £17 a month, and it alternates. I think it's every 3 months. So you go to the dentist, and then the next time you see the hygienist, and then you go back to the dentist and the hygienist. And you know what? I would say I'm pretty good with my teeth, and they're no. What I mean is, and they're. I mean, and looking after them.
All right.
And I would say they're fairly thorough. But it's remarkable the amount of people who you encounter who either say, oh, I wouldn't pay that. Oh, I wouldn't have the time. Oh, couldn't tell you the last time I went to the dentist. And I'm saying, as somebody who goes all the time, even when you go, it's very unpleasant. And there's some amount of scraping and hosing. And so I'm saying, God knows what the average person who doesn't go's mouth's like.
But to be honest here, the amount of crap you shove into your gob, there must be a hell of a lot of stuff comes out. And it's not then recycled. Like that, all that stuff you shove down that mouth of yours, boy. Like,
just turn country. But also, what about people who don't brush their teeth every day?
I mean,
I know some people who it's just not part of their regular routine.
Did you ever go out with anybody that has dog breath?
One of the very first people I went out with had dog breath. God. And because I just thought that was normal.
Oh, I went through a phase of being really attracted to women who smoked.
Oh my God!
But then I learned the hard way that then it's actually really sickening when you kiss them.
I'll tell you everything. I chased this way back in the day. Chased this gorgeous thing and took her out, and she said, "Do you mind if I go out for a smoke?" I goes, "Oh my God, I didn't know. I didn't know beforehand, and I didn't even get close enough to get the smell. You get that smell, and I didn't even get that smell, and I never went back. I dumped her after the first night."
Oh, I thought you meant she comes back in from the cigarette. And you're
going, no, she did. But no, that's what gave it away. Do you mind if I go outside for? I said, "Frig me, I didn't know you did."
But there are now because they have to do it outside and it's not as socially acceptable. There's far less people now doing it.
I disagree with that. You go to any venue and there's a gauntlet outside that you have to run to try and get into it. Yeah. They're queued up outside, both sides, and you have to try and get down the middle to get in by holding your breath. And if it's any more than 35 seconds, you're goosed.
You made it sound like a Japanese game show.
Yeah, and the other thing is, by the time you get in, you're stinking anyway from what you've picked up going through the gauntlet.
Some of Harry Potter.
It's just ridiculous.
I just say group of people.
You made it sound like a real challenge.
Go down to any of those hotels and trying to get in them. And they're starting waiting out the front page. It's gauntlet of people. I came up the road the other day, right? And I thought, honest to God, this car in front of me is on fire. Right? You couldn't see it. I thought, it's either all steamed up or it's on fire. Mm-hmm. There was that much bloody vape in it.
Yeah.
And when they opened the window, it was like the friggin' flying Scotsman heading up the M1.
Wow.
Yeah. I do get you.
Steam flying out of it. It's ridiculous.
Wait, could you ever see yourself starting vaping? No.
Absolutely not. Look, my mummy smoked. My late mum smoked like a bloody train, and it probably was one of the reasons that I never went anywhere near it. My father never did it, but I never went anywhere near it. And then during the fire service, my God, my early days in the fire service, if you were sitting in the back of the fire engine, they all smoked in those days. So I always tried to get the window, right? There was more bloody smoke in the fire engine than there was in the fire.
But let's be honest, like you probably had your fair share of smoke in your lungs anyway.
Well, I did, like in my rebellious rap phase, I went through. If I had a couple of drinks in me, I would have smoked a couple of cigars.
Did you?
Yeah.
Never knew that. Like Havana ones or the Clint Eastwood type thing?
And it was the ones behind the bar at Daft Eddie's, I don't know.
Right. Wow.
You shoot a cigar?
Gonna roll a big fat one and lie on the hot sun.
And pick up my guitar and play. What about that?
There's literally a guitar here.
Well, give it a strum.
Right? And I went.
The pistol needs to put a wee bit of Zach Brown band in there. Toes.
Let me hear how in tune that guitar is. Can you play guitar?
No, not really.
Not really. So you can...
No, I went to guitar lessons, and the guy teaching me used to be in a band called. I was trying to remember the name of the band. I think it was Unit 4+2. And
Unit 4+2.
He knows who the fuck that is.
It's part of the gauntlet.
But here's the thing: the guy clearly was an alcoholic, right?
Right.
So whenever he was teaching me chords, his hands were shaking that much that I was never confident that what he was actually doing. And then he used to do like, he was English. He was like, oh, you've seen me do it. Now you do it. And then I used to play the wrong chord. And because he was an alcoholic and very short tempered, he then started to yell at me.
Was he a brother of the boy who was selling the towels in QVC last night?
Wait here. For our podcast listeners.
Is that it?
Dear God.
Is that it?
That sounds good.
Is that it?
It's a wee bit out of tune there. Yeah.
I must get my wee tuner. It's over there.
What can you play?
Absolutely. A few status quo songs.
Where did you learn the keyboards, Pistol?
Where did I learn? I learned when I was 7 years of age.
Forcibly?
So I was so young I don't remember. I just kind of woke up and I played piano. I don't remember learning.
Well, that's pretty good.
You need to be interviewed by somebody because you went to bed and you woke up and you were able to play the piano.
Yeah.
Pistol,
That's a phenomenon.
do you have to like sit down with sheet music, or could you literally just plant yourself down at a piano and make up a wee tune?
Oh no! I mean, because I learned from music. If there was music there, I could certainly sit down and play it. But I kind of struggle the other way.
Okay.
By ear. There's two routes you can go down. I always wish I could learn, or wish I did learn via my ear.
And being honest as well, is there a lot of bands that the guitar actually is just the prop?
There's a lot of bands in the scene who they're using
Playing
tracks.
the backing track.
Yeah. They're using backing tracks. Yeah.
So it's a fraud.
Well, whether it's a fraud or whether there's not advertising the fact that they're just saying, band for your event, but they're not saying we have 4 people on the stage who are playing instruments, but there's also in a stereo player behind the stage. There's, yeah.
But the thing about it is, even a lot of big arena shows now, if it's like a more pop-leaning act, there might be the solo artist or the band, a couple of dancers. There's no actual band on stage, and nobody stops to question where the hell the music's coming from.
I know. Yeah, people are just stupid. People are just, yeah.
Although, let me just say, I saw last night Dave Matthews Band, right? 3 hours that band played for. And if you actually even go, there's a website online where you can check set lists.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Different set list every night. But even to the point where there was like maybe too long of a pause in between songs. But literally they would do a song and then they would like discuss among themselves what do you want to do next. And if you actually go on, which I did today, a 3-hour set, and every show they've done across Europe, over the past couple of weeks. They haven't played the same set 2 nights in a row for 3 hours.
See, that's another level altogether. That's just
You know the way these days, like say an artist does one show, and if you're that much of a big fan, you can watch multiple rubbish versions filmed by somebody in the crowd on their phone. So you know the show. There's no surprises. That's what was really good about that gig, was you had no clue what was coming next. Either did they.
But you not think a set list is a bad idea because you know then what's coming up, and you sort of hang around for the one you want, and then you bugger off.
It depends on the artist, and not everybody. What I've just described, not everybody could do that.
But that's a very individual talent now, because that doesn't happen. You know, all these so-called made-up bands that are even playing around this year, and the whole thing is all studio mixed and sampled, and it's all maybe allegedly a bit of miming going on, and allegedly a bit of false guitar going on, and that sort of thing. And you think to yourself, yeah, where are the trumpets coming from? There's no trumpets actually on the stage.
You know, Eric Church does that. He has a start and an end song, and the rest of it he just goes with the flow.
Definitely.
Pistol's itching to wrap this up.
Yeah, I'm gonna wrap it up. I'm gonna wrap it up by saying I actually had someone comment on your background, Paul, on your home aesthetics, and that you were it was very. Was modern the word that was used? I don't know, but the things in your house, like the wee decorations, and we had like a bit of more kitchen view last time, and your wee photos on the wall. Just your background, it was pointed out to me. That it was nice. Oh, yeah.
Like what? Like, are you talking about like behind me here? Like
Just the kitchen and the cleanliness of it and the aesthetics. So
like,
just
well, they're like you're behind me, and the wee barbecue thing up on the wall
and
there,
the wee plant and all that was mentioned, the wee chair and all. Yeah.
This is what I'm saying. I've said this before. It's I find it unnecessary that he brings in someone to clean, because it's so well kept.
Well, here's an idea, and here's a good idea. I'll just give you a wee quick look around there, Bamford. Why don't you turn your camera around there?
No.
Why don't you turn? I mean, your mom's here in the booth in Woolworths, but you turn around. Turn the camera around there, Bamford. Get a wee look.
It's like MTV Cribs.
No, we're not interested in the awards. Go on round. Swing round. Come on.
That's it. That's as far as it goes. That's it.
Let's get to the close.
Okay. There's a clothes horse there, and it's fully racked.
Yeah.
This is turning to be like a competition of whose house is cleaner between you two.
Well, there's no point in you showing us around the booth there, Pistol and Woolworths.
Mine's just do you know what I've done? I put a wee curtain up.
See that?
So I put this is in the shed, right?
Oh,
so I put a wee curtain up behind there.
Wow.
My shelves, my wee seat.
Is that for guests?
That's for whoever, yeah.
Right.
Whereabouts in the house is this? Is this like a wee basement?
No, this is a summer house. This is outside. This is a shed.
Oh, okay, very good.
So
he got the gear, boy. Is that where you practice your keyboards?
No, that's what I'm saying. We were filming some wee things in front of it, just a black screen. So that's why I put curtains on. I thought just to make it a bit more studio, like, make it a bit more.
Did you get some sort of a grant during lockdown for that wee outdoor shed? Did you?
No. When we moved here, this was a clay making business was in here. Like a home business, but you made clay in the shed. So this was here.
Oh. Wow.
Very good.
Yeah. And the two yous out there making vases and stuff. Like the movie?
No, I wasn't making the clay. No, the previous owner was.
Do you know the movie what I'm talking about?
Like Ghost?
In that position and all. Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah.
Were you making a big
there's not, but I haven't made any clay in here, no. To wrap this up, anything exciting coming up in the next week? No?
Bruce Springsteen!
You're going to Bruce Springsteen?
Yes.
That's next week?
Yes. I'm going to Bruce Springsteen Thursday the 9th.
Yes, I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah.
On that note, like and subscribe.
Yeah, let's wrap up today's episode. Please like and subscribe. Episode 6 now, over. Yeah, episode 6.
It's only a series of 10, isn't it?
Wait, what are we doing for the 10th episode or our 10th birthday?
Well, I'm
sorry. We'll all go and get colonoscopies.
We'll all follow Bamford down to the boy that sticks his finger up your arse, and we'll take it in turns.
I had to go private for that. It cost me a couple of £100.
And the name of good grief.
Yeah.
Well, at least the bonus out of this whole thing is that a female has said she likes my house.
Yeah.
Didn't mention me.
That's what you're taking from this episode, then fair enough.
Yeah. I would love you to do on maybe the 10th episode, a house tour.
A house tour?
Like
A house
Cribs?
tour. Like Cribs. I would just love to see
The whole house?
when Bamford talks about, how clean your house is. And I would just
No,
love
you see,
to
no.
see-
See, that would be unfair, Pistol, because the Banford then would have it tidied up. You need to have it spontaneously. Show us round now, Banford. And I can guarantee you, if he turns around that camera, you'll see what you're saying is right.
Listen, you're making it sound like a dump. There's a clothes horse with probably everything full on it. That's it.
Banford or Wise?
Boxers. But what I'm saying is, apart from that, it's very clean and tidy.
Right, see you next week.
Cheerio!